Could the next wave of models, including Gemini 3 and Anthropic 4.5, be on the way? Today we're checking in on the rumor mill as well as a general vibe check for where the big lab competition is as we head into the fall. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Some days on this show, we get quite heady. Big new ideas, research papers, technical innovations that could change the world. Other days, we're super practical. I've got an episode coming up about how to avoid the scourge of work slop. And then other days, we are just digging into the rumor mill, checking in on the vibes, and understanding the state of competition among the big labs. Today is one of those days, and this is something that's been brewing for a little while. If you have been watching the sentiment closely, it feels like there was a big shift around Anthropic just over the last month or so. Anthropic bull poster account Super Dario tweeted, "Word is Anthropic team at offsite this week trying to regroup and get back on feet after inference stumbles and launch delays. Dedicated to sticking the landing. Down but not out, still bullish." Chubby writes, "It's strange how the vibe is turning against Claude and increasingly positive towards OpenAI and ChatGPT. The former bubble darling Anthropic is increasingly losing favor. A couple of days ago, Elon Musk himself waded in saying winning was never in the set of possible outcomes for Anthropic, leading to posts like this one from Mark Kretschmann, who wrote, 'It's over for Anthropic and I'm not going to miss them.'" So what is going on? Why is Anthropic in this low ebb right now when it comes to reputation? There are a couple of reasons. Anthropic has had, by any estimation, an absolutely unbelievable year. The company grew revenue from about $1 billion to $5 billion, and for most of the year really cemented and confirmed its dominance as the coding model of choice. That dominance, however, looked a little bit rocky towards the end of the summer. People were complaining left and right that they believed Anthropic was throttling Claude in ways that were making it really hard to use. Now, Anthropic has said over and over again that they were not intentionally throttling their models and that they would never do that, but they did come out with a sort of mea culpa explanation of what was going on. Summing up the problem, Unite AI writes, "For the past 6 weeks, Claude users have been losing their minds. Starting in early August, complaints started flooding Reddit, X, and developer forums. The issues were all over the place. Code that used to work perfectly was suddenly broken. Claude would claim it made changes to files when it didn't. Random Thai or Chinese characters appeared in English responses. Instructions were being completely ignored. The same prompt was giving wildly different quality responses. And Claude Code users said it felt lobotomized compared to before. The complaints got so bad that by late August, people were convinced Anthropic was secretly throttling Claude to save money. Conspiracy theories were everywhere. Maybe they were reducing quality during peak hours. Maybe they'd quietly swapped in a cheaper model. Maybe this was intentional degradation to manage server costs. Turns out that the problem, they say, was not any sort of intentional throttling, but actual bugs that, as they put it, intermittently degraded responses from Claude. Now, we went through this on a previous show, but for our purposes today, the important point is that there were some big performance issues that created an opening, and it's an opening that OpenAI seized. GPT-5 was very clearly, from the moment it was launched, aimed at winning back some of the market share around agentic coding that OpenAI had lost to Anthropic over the previous year. And while initially, the response to the model was largely drowned out by all the issues surrounding weird choices like the deprecation of old models, issues with the model selector, etc., people slowly started to come around largely because of GPT-5's coding capabilities and Codex more specifically. Slow Developer Hater on Twitter writes, "GPT-5 Codex is the best product launch of Q4 2025. It follows instructions, sticks to the guidelines, doesn't overcomplicate, and produces optimized code. If you're into vibe coding, it might not be for you, but if you know what you want, it beats Claude Code in every way." Chong Yu points out that Codex has more GitHub stars than Claude Code, even though it was released a month and a half later. More generally, it's just clear that for the first time, Claude has some real competition when it comes to being the default code model, and that has gotten worse with the release of GPT-5 Codex. So a big part of the vibe issues are just simply the fact that Anthropic's model performance was degraded for a little while, right at the time when one of their fiercest competitors was releasing something that was, for the first time, actually competitive for that use case. Now, there also have been some other issues. The company's leadership has been standing on principle vis-a-vis Donald Trump. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that CEO Dario Amodei is, in their words, openly challenging President Trump's hands-off AI strategy. He explicitly did not come to that White House dinner for AI leaders, and that's put him and the company directly at odds with AI czar David Sachs, who has been taking potshots at Dario and Anthropic for months now. Still, while that creates political headwinds that are a pain in the butt for them to deal with, I don't think that's actually at the core of any of these issues of the vibe ebb they are currently experiencing. I certainly think more at issue is self-inflicted wounds around some of the things that Dario has chosen to speak about in recent interviews. Here's, for example, what he said recently about open source.
I don't think open source works the same way in AI that it has worked in other areas, primarily because with open source you can see the source code of the model. Here we can't see inside the model. It's often called open weights instead of open source, right, to kind of distinguish that. But a lot of the benefits, which is that many people can work on it, that it's kind of additive, it doesn't quite work in the same way. I've actually always seen it as a red herring. When I see a new model come out, I don't care whether it's open source or not. Like if we talk about DeepSeek, I don't think it mattered that DeepSeek is open source. I ask, is it a good model?
Right.
Is it better than us at the things that's the only thing that I care about. It actually doesn't matter either way, because ultimately you have to host it on the cloud. The people who host it on the cloud do inference. These are big models. They're hard to do inference on. And conversely, many of the things that you can do when you see the weights, we're increasingly offering on clouds where you can fine tune the model. You can we're even looking at ways to kind of investigate the activations of the model as part of like an interpretability interface. We did some little things around steering last time. So I think it's the wrong axis to think in terms of. When I think about competition, I think about like which models are good at the tasks that we do. I think open source is actually a red herring.
So that may just be Dario thinking from first principles, but it was not received in an open and thoughtful way. Instead, the much more common response was summed up by this one from Mark Kretschmann, who wrote, Dario Amodei is showing his true face, anti-competitive doomer with a love of regulation to control AI. For that reason, he hates open source AI. Anthropic has always been like that, but many of you are late to notice it. Now, even people that weren't that caustic, like Cyril Zaka from Hugging Face, said, rare miss from Dario. Open source AI has been one of the most important drivers of innovation and optimizations in the field. Quite disappointing take. There was a lot more at various ends of that spectrum, but wading into this pond at this moment, when they were already dealing with some narrative issues, was sort of just adding on to a fire that was already burning. Now, the counter-narrative to all of this comes from Lisan Al-Gaib, who writes, what's up with the whole Anthropic doomer sentiment today? They will drop the best coding model once again and keep growing at 10x a year. And I do think that it's always worth asking when there is some weird vibe shift, how much it has to do with people just not having something else to talk about, and asking the question, what have you done lately for me? And on that front, the rumor mill has been swirling for some time now that we were about to get a Claude 4.5 release. Now, if Super Dario is right, maybe that release has been delayed and that's part of the issue here. But there is certainly also a sentiment that once that happens, there are going to be a whole lot of people who are willing to forgive any issues they had in the past if the model actually is as good as people hope it will be. Another positive thing that Anthropic has going for them is the Keep Thinking brand campaign they launched last week, which is certainly the highest quality traditional sort of brand messaging that we've seen from any AI company so far. Former White House AI leader Dean Ball writes, I mean it as the absolute highest compliment when I say that of all the AI companies today, none remind me more of early 2000s Apple than Anthropic. Attached to that tweet was the core asset of that Keep Thinking campaign. And the other interesting note is that while the enfranchised chattering classes may be on a comparative low ebb with their relationship with Claude, the models themselves are potentially getting their biggest audience ever with the new deal recently announced by Microsoft. We had reported early as this started to leak, but this week Satya Nadella and Microsoft made it official, tweeting, today we're expanding Microsoft 365 Copilot with the addition of Anthropic's Claude models. Customers can now use both OpenAI and Claude starting in Research in Copilot Studio and coming to more experiences soon. Our multimodal approach goes beyond choice. It's all about bringing the best AI from across the industry to Copilot, tuned for work and tailored for every business. Ultimately, I tend to be in the Lisan camp here. I think that we are at a period where Anthropic is shaking off the dust of degraded performance, which unfortunately came at a moment when OpenAI became a realistic competitor for coding applications for the first time in more than a year. But foundation model companies always look worst when one of their competitors has recently released a model and they haven't. All I think it's probably going to take to get people back on board is a next generation Claude model, assuming that it actually is better on the coding front than the tools we have access to today. Now, expanding this into a little bit of a roundup of where the labs are in general, we've heard about Anthropic and OpenAI. Recently, I also told the story of that town hall where Satya Nadella of Microsoft said that he was haunted at the prospect of Microsoft not surviving this AI era. I think the interesting thing about Microsoft right now is that they have clearly, firmly, and finally broken off their trajectory from their first big AI partner of this era in OpenAI. I don't think it's some big dramatic thing, I just think that they're taking a different path, and increasingly that path is coming into view. Writing about why Microsoft had passed on all of this Stargate build-out, Reuters wrote, through late 2024, Microsoft, then OpenAI's exclusive cloud partner, was scouting new data center sites for OpenAI. As OpenAI's compute appetite ballooned, Microsoft began to reevaluate all the properties it was leasing to find space for expansion. Any property that wasn't in prominent locations or didn't have a solid power contract locked in was put on the chopping block. Oracle and SoftBank stepped in to source sites with over 1 gigawatt requirements. Microsoft, meanwhile, kept expanding at the edges of existing regions, avoiding one gargantuan bet. They continue, Microsoft now favors clusters sized for long-term reuse with staged GPU refreshes, distributed across regions to support inference as much as training. Here's Microsoft's bet. The future of AI isn't another colossal supercomputer in one location. It's a fast distributed web of AI power serving billions of people globally. The winning AI platform will be the one that delivers a fast, seamless experience to users no matter where they are in the world. They conclude Microsoft was richly rewarded for taking the first risky OpenAI bet. The billion-dollar question now is whether playing it safe is an equally smart move. Point is that they've sort of locked in their strategy now, and only time will tell how smart it is. Meanwhile, the company with the rosiest vibes right now, you gotta think, is Google. And when it comes to the rumor mill, as interested as people are in Claude 4.5, the thing that they're really excited about and really hoping for soon is Gemini 3. Now, Gemini 3 launch rumors have been around since July, so I think it's dangerous to put too much of a stake in anything you see there, but it is notable that they have picked up again in recent days. Leo at Synthwaved writes, good news. Gemini 3's launch target has been brought forward to early October from mid-October. Only a couple of weeks left now. Chubby writes, the rumor mill is buzzing. Apparently the Gemini 3 release will be brought forward to early October starting next week. Dan Mack writes, Gemini 3 is coming, this we know. What we don't know is how good it will be. My prediction is that it will clearly be the best AI model available, both vibes and benchmark based. Google has the momentum now, and I don't think anyone is stopping that train now it's a-rolling. JK responded, to be honest, predictions like this make me think of the ecosystem ripple effects. If Gemini 3 pulls ahead on vibes and performance, it won't be just about the model, but how quickly developers can build on top of it without the friction of fragmented APIs or inconsistent scaling that plagued earlier iterations. The Gemini 3 rumors reached a fever pitch when Google's Kath Korovich tweeted, y'all, I'm very excited for next week. But that was, as it turns out, about Google's AI coding tool, which is getting a new release next week, or in fact, as Kath responded on one post, more than one. In other words, it seems unlikely to me that we're getting Gemini 3 next week, but we are going to see some updates around Google's coding agent. Still, the point is that compared to some of these other platforms, the vibes around Google right now are extremely positive. Lisanne Gaib again writes, I'm positive that Gemini 3 will be my favorite launch of the year. There's still hope. GPT-5 and Claude 4 were disappointing. There has even recently been some amount of chatter, not necessarily in our little tech or enterprise corner of the world, but on Wall Street, about Amazon and AI. Wealthmatica recently tweeted, Amazon is underrated. Amazon has one of the best partnerships in the AI industry. Anthropic plus AWS. As Anthropic's demand scales, so does AWS. It's completely fair to expect AWS to ramp aggressively back into 20+% growth rates in the coming quarters. Analysts at Wells Fargo also recently shared a similar analysis. In a note to clients this week, those analysts pointed to, quote, increased conviction in AWS revenue acceleration following detailed Anthropic contribution in cloud market analysis. So that's where we are. The rumor mill sees, or at least hopes, we get a Gemini 3 or an Anthropic 4.5 in the coming weeks. The vibes on Anthropic are on a low ebb, but certainly not in a way that another good model release couldn't change. Microsoft is off charting its own path. Amazon is back in the conversation for the first time in a while. And Google right now has the sort of immaculate vibes that they could have only hoped for just 18 months ago. That's the state of lab competition as I see it. Obviously, this is very fast changing. Mostly, I think people just want new toys, and I certainly can't blame them for that. For now, though, that's going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Appreciate you listening or watching as always. And until next time, peace